Hey everybody, welcome back. Today we're going to be talking about in-season training, or specifically fight camp training. If you're a boxer, MMA fighter, kickboxer, anything fun like that. So now before we dive into it, first off I want to apologize. I missed my first video since doing this, starting this 2 months ago. Because I've been going through a little bit of a lack of motivation since getting injured. My training has changed. It was weighing on me a little bit. I recorded some videos, but I really wasn't happy with the content in it. I felt like it was just really repetitive, didn't offer anything new, and I want to make this worth listening to for you guys. So changing gears, while with myself, I'm still focusing on flexibility, cardio, and leg power and strength. And also with that, since I'm not fighting on this next kickboxing match, some of my teammates are, and I'm going to be helping them with their training camp and all that good stuff. So I want to bring some of that info for you. Now a lot of the specifics I'm going to be giving you apply to martial artists and fight training, but the core principles really apply to any athletic event in season, really. So now the whole goal, though, the biggest thing I want you to take away from this, gonna start off with it, is train for speed and performance. Speed is everything. The power, that's going to come through just speed, basically. And during the off season, or before your training camp, that's when you want to build, grow, get stronger. The idea for a training camp, most of the time you have 8 weeks. The idea is to keep as much of your muscle mass as possible while focusing on power. Where power, the definition of power that I'm a big fan of, is using your strength, maximum strength, as fast as you can. Whether that's running, punching, jumping, it's using your max strength as fast as you can. So with that, you want to take all the strength that you built during the max effort stuff and just hone that, sharpen that blade. And it'll be super effective for you. There are some guys that I am a big fan of for following some of this, like Speed of Sport, Nick Curzon. He's doing awesome stuff out there wherever he is. He's got some awesome info and awesome videos. I believe, though, he's a little bit too much in that one camp. From my understanding, he does nothing but plyo stuff with his athletes. I mean, he's got some amazing athletes. They do great stuff. But with the idea of a bigger muscle has the potential to be a stronger muscle. The stronger you are, the easier it is to not even hit somebody or something like that. But it's easier to move yourself. It's not just the force that you could put on somebody. So if your legs are stronger, each step is going to be easier, breaking it down to that level. The carryover is extreme for this. So that's why it's very valuable to get both. Another big reason why I like strongman is it really combines both things, just on a max effort scale. So now for an actual training camp workout routine. So now the biggest thing, more than ever, I know I've said before, for athletic programming, where you don't want the workouts, you don't want what you're doing in the gym to ever take away from your practices or your actual skill that you're developing. So keeping that in mind, I like to really just have one maintenance day. Maybe two if you really want to squeeze in an extra one, but you really just want one day to go around, a couple compound moves, nothing that's going to keep you sore, just get a good pump, feel good, feel strong. And then with that, I like to go for 2 days of explosive power training, an upper body day and a lower body day. So, similar idea though as the regular strength training, but with full power. A lot of big core movements, rotational movements, explosive movements. Something I'm a really big fan of working with during the power and explosive exercises are bands. Bands are amazing. Now you do want to be careful when choosing your bands or choosing your medicine balls or anything that you're going to do, because I'm not going to bore you too much with the science of the studies, but recent studies came out where if you're training explosive work and it slows down your movement by more than 10%, you're actually training your body to work slower. That's why the Dragon Ball Z, Goku type of moves of like just wearing weighted clothes, just holding dumbbells and punching with them, it's not going to make you punch faster. It's going to create an illusion of you punching faster. Your hands are going to feel lighter, but the research shows that it's actually going to slow down your movement. It's going to train your body to work slower. You're going to get used to punching with weight, and that's all your body's going to know. But though, that's just for the specific movement. Because a lot of times people try to recreate the specific move they're going to do, calling it like sports-specific training. But if you just understand the core principles of what drives the movement, right? So for kickboxing, for example, just throwing a punch, for example, all that movement, if you know the mechanics, it starts from the legs, drives up to the hips, rotational power, to the shoulder, to the hand, all that good stuff, thinking about the kinetic chain. So explosive leg movement, super important. So now that is something that you could do. Still want to keep it quick, still want to keep it explosive, but you don't. But you can overload it a little bit. Still finding that balance, though. You don't want to get too sore in between. So something I'm a big fan of, for example, is doing split squats with dumbbells in your hand. Eccentric, going down as slow as you can for like a count of 5, dropping the weights once you hit the bottom, and as soon as you drop those weights, exploding, trying to jump off the ground basically. You don't have to actually leave the ground, but trying to explode up as fast as you can. So with that, you're still going to gain strength on the eccentric motion, but also the response of as soon as you drop the weights, your reaction, explode up. Works speed, works in overload. It's an awesome one. A really good one too is if you're lucky enough to be training with a partner. Split squats are great for just trying to explode off that lead leg, even if you're not doing them with weight. Let's say if you're lucky enough to be working with a coach or a partner, if you lower yourself, hold that bottom position for a couple seconds. Use the cue of when your partner says up or go, and then explode off the ground. That's an amazing one. Trains you to be more reactionary, and that's really gonna up your speed on that one. Because that's the whole name of the game. Any sport that you're doing, that one's gonna be huge. So yeah, I would train these the same way that you would train strength. So. Like I was saying, big motions. So with the legs, I'll use that as an example. I like working legs. I would train something that works both legs at the same time, a bigger motion. For me, I really like seated box jumps, where you're already seated in the squat position with your legs at 90 degrees or a little lower, and then right from that position, blasting off into a box jump. That's a great one for working both legs. Then from there, I would go into the split squats with the weight. Usually I'm training solo, so I'd do it with the weight, drop it, explode up. Awesome, strong single leg motion. Then from there, also those are going to work the quads. So since that one was heavy, explosive on the quads, banded hamstring curls. Yeah, I've got a bunch of videos of those. Those are awesome though, when you loop a band around anything on a bench, and explosive knees to your butt as fast as you can for sets of that, keeping it quick. Yeah, so that's 3 moves. Then depth jumps, that's another great one. So if you, that one's just real explosive reactionary again, triple extension, mostly for the ankles and that type of speed. So that one, if you have a box that's a smaller one, maybe like a foot off the ground, you start standing on that, drop down with both feet. As soon as your feet touch the ground, you want to explode right off and onto a taller box, maybe like waist height or something like that, or work your way up. Now the benefit with that one, I think that one's a really huge one, because you have to react by the feel. If your heels touch the ground, if you're on the ground for more than, I believe the math was a quarter of a second, then it's not considered plyometric. So you, as soon as your toes touch the ground, you want to be bouncing right up. Really valuable for any kind of fighting, because you want to be, really any sport, in any sport, if you're on your, sitting flat-footed on your heels, you're not going to be fast. There's just no way around it, especially in fighting and all that. Every technique is on the balls of your feet. So this really trains that explosiveness. So with those, you got the legs covered. And then for the middle, big rotations. Big fan of medicine ball throws. And still want to have a light enough weight, like I was saying, where you don't want to have a big, slow rotation, like if you're doing, like for the abs, like a Russian twist, medicine ball twist. You want to keep it quick, explosive. If you have a wall that you could throw the ball against, you can use a band too if you loop it against something or loop it around something. And explosive rotations, keeping the back nice and upright, and really drilling, with the boxing analogy here, really kind of drilling, throwing hooks, how you want to pivot off your foot, and whole hip rotation using the whole body. You don't want to just get the upper body going. You want it to come from the whole kinetic chain from the foot to the hips. Yeah, so something like that would be my lower body day. Very, very effective. You want to keep the rep ranges high rep, because you want to be able to work while you're fatigued, but not enough weight and not enough reps to go crazy and make you sore. So something I would usually do with those exercises, the main ones, like the jumps, any kind of box jumps, I would usually do like 8 or 10 sets of 3. So just 3, keeping it explosive, recover, keeping it 3, then either increasing the height or things like that. Now for the more of the accessory movements, like the hamstring curls or the rotations, for something like that, I would do 4 sets of either 10 or 15. Just the idea is that even in that third, fourth set, you want to keep it, the goal is to keep it as fast as set number 1. Training a little bit of that muscle endurance, explosiveness, because that's really the goal here with this type of training. You want to stay explosive even when you're tired, trying to drill that into your brain. Alright, so to summarize, I think that explosive leg day. Alright, so to summarize, I think that explosive leg day is a good one to start with. So don't go too heavy. Big point right there. If you train slow, you're going to be slow. Next, don't make yourself sore. Don't overdo it. Whatever you do, don't take away from your skill training. Alright, so I feel like, the way I said that, I feel like there was supposed to be a third point, but I don't exactly have a third point right now. But that'll be some good stuff to start with. Definitely explosive legs. That's where all the power comes from on anything, no matter what sport you're doing. So yeah, have fun with that. If you want, I can, in the next video, go into upper body. I just didn't want to throw so much at you at once and make you guys have to take notes or anything like that. But yeah, have fun with it. Thanks for joining. Thanks for putting up with me skipping a whole week, and I even missed yesterday's upload. But I'll have some good stuff for you tomorrow too. All right, and thanks for listening.